Parashat Bamidbar. Parashat Bamidbar deals a lot with the pikudim. They count this, pakadati, and so on and so forth. It's mentioned about, I don't know, over 50 times, 50-something times in this parasha. The concept of pkida too. The question is, what's so important about counting the people? Ma kore po? And we need to look at the concept of mazel lifkod. Lifkod comes from tafkid, a job. Because it really does not make a difference if you are number 600,000 or you're number 400,327.5. It does not make a difference. The most important thing is that you would become aware that you are a part of something greater that is called Am Yisrael. Our reality today in our world is that people feel out of place, they don't feel they belong to anything, and so on and so forth. And you can't form a nation when people feel that they don't count for anything. So here comes the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he says, you know what? Let's count them. Let's show them that each and every one is important. Each and every one has a tafkid. Tafkid means a job. And it doesn't make a difference what's your job. Could be what you would think is important, what somebody else would think is important, but that's really irrelevant. What's important is that you are needed. If you would see what goes to a pre-flight check of a plane, you might get an idea of the importance of every part of this airplane. For example, let me ask you, what is the most important part of the airplane? That if you don't have it, the airplane does not fly.
The pilot, everything. The bolts. Everything.
I said one part, bright light. I said one part, uno. If you don't have it, it doesn't go.
The bolts.
The bolts. I said one. Engine. Pilot. Wings. You're right, wings. How about the rotor, the back? How about the flaps? You know what the flaps are, right? If he doesn't put them like 7 degrees, the plane doesn't take off. If you put it 7 degrees, a little, or 15, depends on the plane, you just run and it will fly by itself. It will lift by itself. How about the wheels? How about the hydraulic system? How about the gyroscope? These are all important. You know about the gyroscope. It tells you where the horizon is. I'm going to tell you that. You know how much is a rivet that they put into the plane to hold the aluminum skin in place? How much does it cost? I don't think it's cost a cent. If one rivet is missing, more than that, if half a rivet is missing, no, let me correct. If a part of the rivet is missing, the plane does not take off. Why? Because that's going to create a weak point in the plane. The tremendous forces. If you fly on big jets, you have no idea how much the wings actually, in a way they go like this. They move. You know how much stress there is on every part of the plane? And if the plane is a big airliner, will fly like 700 miles an hour. If it's a fighter jet, forget it. Twice, 2.5 times the speed of sound. A small nick in the rivet will make it rip. Together with it, aluminum will fly, plane goes out. That would prevent the plane from taking off. When they do the pre-flight, they check it. So even if your job is a rivet, you are no more than a rivet. You're not the engine, you're not the automatic pilot, you're not the computer, you're not any of those fancy things. You're not even the pilot. And you feel bad for yourself. I'm only a little rivet. Don't feel bad, because if you're not there, the plane is not taking off. Am Israel is being formed into a nation. That's, by the way, one of the reasons they went to the desert. They go to the desert because they need to morph themselves from a bunch of slaves into a nation. You also, on a smaller scale, will have to go through the stage in your life. You have to go into the desert. When you don't have interruption, when you're allowed to grow and develop and form yourself into this wonderful thing that is called a person, or to that matter, the nation, the Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael could not have become a nation in Times Square. Where are your deserts? Where is your desert? Right here. The desert is your Bet Midrash, where you run into when you see that the world is about to eat you out alive, and you can't find yourself a path to go on to, and you're feeling lost in the world. You come here to the Bet Midrash. You come here to Yeshiva, and you come here to learn. Because here, you are needed. You count. We need each and every one of you. Here, you learn the importance of the individual. But not as a nation of individuals. You learn the importance of the individual as it is a part of this general thing that's called Am Yisrael, our nation. So each and every one of you has a tafkid, has a job. And there would be times in your life that you feel, I'm out of place. My moments are not important. It is not. Don't only count the glorious moments of your life when there's big productions and fireworks and big bangs or chases in the car, kind of Hollywood type of action and drama. You should be counting and put importance also on the moments, the little moments, the rivet moments of your life as well. Not only when you're taking off. Even if you put your plane into storage, you have to take care of it the right way. You have to disconnect the batteries. You have to maintain it, air in the tires, and so on and so forth. Otherwise, it falls apart. So the ability to transform slaves into a nation in the desert would start we need the place. Again, I'm going into the psychology thing. If we're talking about Bendora, right? If we have a problem with a person with a certain behavior, there are two things that would affect the behavior. Is the person, his cognition, his ability to think the way he thinks, and the environment. These are the three interlocking entities that cause a person to become what is. So if you have a problem with the person's behavior, change either his thinking or his environment or both. So we had a problem with Am Yisrael thinking. Am Yisrael said, we only know how to be slaves, and as such, their behavior was a slave behavior. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, guys, not a problem. You think Ben-Dora invented it? I invented it. All right, you're going to go to the desert. You're going to go to the desert, and so we changed the environment. You're going to be there for 40 years. Don't think it's a bad thing. You're going to be there for 40 years. And in that desert, we're going to start slowly change the way you think. And how are you going to think? You are all important. Everyone is important. Everyone is a job, a specific job. And then we change the way we think, we change the way we behave. And then when we change the way to behave, and we start behaving like free people, all right, guys, now you can go to Israel. Now you can go to the land. And how do we do it on a greater scale? Every tribe, every shevet had his own flag. Every shevet has its placement as they move in formation throughout the desert. Again, it wasn't like, Exodus and the Ten Commandments in Hollywood style when everybody was aligned with the babies and carrying one big line till forever and ever. They move in almost a military formation. I mean, you see the sense behind it. And that is something very important. And every time Am Yisrael goes into a behavior that does not fit what Am Yisrael is about, they get a little whacking, we all get a little bamboozled here, and then we count again the people. Why? To remind you of your importance, remind you of your job in which you need to do. It's something to remember. That you're all important. Even if you think that you are not important. Sometimes it's convenient to us to be not important because it allows us to do all the things that we should not be doing. And after all, I'm not important, so I might as well just do that. Nobody cares about me anyway. You're wrong. That's why it's important to have a community. Not just for the sake of taking care of each other. You know that you're never going to be alone. That's why it's important when you see your friend that hasn't shown up in the shul or in Yeshiva for a long time. Just pick up your phone. You have no excuses. Pick up the phone. Say, hey buddy, where have you been? We missed you. No, why don't you come down? You missed me? Well, that's great. Thank you. I thought nobody cares. No, we care. I mean, what do you mean? It's exactly it. And more than that, this week's Parasha, there is a very interesting there's a very interesting ordeal with the covering of the Mishkan and the covering of the Aron, and the Mishkan. One has Tchelet on the bottom and then covered with the Ot Chashim, and the other one is just the other way around. Tachash and Tchelet on top. Let's just look at what does it tell us inside. What's the meaning behind it? Orot Chashim, first of all, those Chashim, we don't really know what they were. There's some kind of a historical animal that we don't really know what it was. There's some speculation of what they were, but we're not quite sure what they were. According to some Midrashim, it's an animal that existed for the purpose of building the Mishkan, and after we did it, it was gone. To show you again, there is a purpose to everything. But Tachash comes from the world, or reminds us of the world, that's according to the Nazim evolution. Remind us, Tchusha. Tchusha means feeling. And Tchelet reminds us of Tachlit, purpose. So Tachash will be something that would represent this world, and Tchelet would represent something of the spiritual world, where things are the essence, the Tachlit, the essence of things, the purpose while we're doing things. And that sits, by the way, quite well with what we learned today in the Zohar. So even on something that is so great as the Aron itself, that represents the supernatural, we put the tachash on top and then we cover it with chelet, because that also needs a balance to it. We need to, this is a remez, it's a hint for us to be able to look at the Aron, to look at the Mishkan, and to learn something about ourselves. Sometimes at our most sensual feelings, places, where everything's about sensation, we must put inside some purpose, so it would not be just for the sake of feeling or sensation. Otherwise, you become addicted to it. And sometimes you remember you're going to have moments of superior spiritual elevation that you feel like you're flying out and floating in the air. He says, wait a minute, hold on one second. Good thing we have gravity, otherwise you'll fly. Hold on, let's put some feeling, something physical into it, so you'll be balanced. And based on what is taking effect right now, there will be the opposite of it will be closer to us. So what is the feeling that you're feeling right now? Extreme spiritual, wow, kind of a thing. Hold on, ground down, Habibi. It's time to get married. Go get a job. Get in touch with reality. And when you feel like all immersed in a burst of sensations and feelings, like your hormones are coming out of your ears, hold on, come to Bet Midrash. We'll give a little bit spirituality into it. We'll put some tachlit, some purpose to your actions. But it all has to be in balance. So us, after we have realized that we have a job that we need to do that is unique to each and every one of us. Each and every one of us, we don't know what it is, and that's the beauty of it. We have to seek and look and try to find out what is the purpose of our lives. What is the job that only I can do? Maybe you lived all your life, your 90 years, because one time you met this person that wanted to learn, and he could not find who to learn from. He just simply did not connect with anyone. And your job was to meet this guy and to work with him for a year, to set them on a path where he'll be able to learn. For that you came to this world. So you're going to say, what? For this I came to this world? That's my whole reason? Yes. You have a purpose too. Don't think that your purpose is to build bridges and to be the next Robert Moses, who built half of the East Coast. If not all of it. That's his job. Who said that this job is more important than teaching a person how to read a daf of Gemara? Maybe that's the reason why you live. How do you know that? So you have to look and search for the purpose, for the reason. Why do I come here? What's my purpose in life? And after you feel that, you need to see now how you're going to balance it. This is the Pikudim, and this is at the end of the Parasha when it talks about the balance of things. Orot Chashim, Tchelet. Tchelet, Orot Chashim. So never feel lost. And always keep on looking for the meaning of your life, for the reason why you're here. And you came here to serve others. You did not come here to serve yourself. If you are selfish, that you are not willing to give from yourself to others, you are wasting your life. You are wasting this great potential of life that was given it to you. It was only given to you so you could do something with it, small or big, but you have a job. So keep on searching, keep on seeking, keep on balancing everything, spiritual and physical, to be in complete harmony, then you understand what shalom is. Shabbat shalom.